Alright viewers, welcome back. So this is a continuation of the cloth animation. This is the third part. We are going to do the stage. So I opened the logo in Photoshop, then use the magic wand to select the logo, then came to select the mask path. What I'm actually doing is this. I'm trying to get an outline, then send it into Cinema 4D to extrude. Alright, so after getting the outline, I exported it as an Illustrator file. Okay, alright, let me name it the desktop cloth. Let me save it here. Alright, so after that I close the software, then open Cinema 4D. So after opening Cinema 4D, I open the folder containing my AI file. I drag the AI file, the Illustrator file, into Cinema 4D. Alright, I click OK. So you have your outline here in C4D. Okay, alright. So what I did next was, you see, I don't want the circle within this one. So I changed the perspective view to orthographic view, then selected front view, right? Then I made the spline editable. So I selected this one, the middle one. Selected the middle one, the points within the middle one, then deleted it. So now I have this. Okay, let's return to our perspective view. Okay, so this is our perspective view. Alright, so now what we are going to do next is to extrude the logo. Alright, let me separate the logos. Alright, so you come here to the tools menu here, you select extrude. Okay, then you drop the path 1, which is the logo 88, one of it, into the extrude. Alright, you see that once I drop it in, it extruded the spline. Alright, that's 20 centimeters. Let me make it something like 120. So you have this, an extrusion of one of the 88. Okay, alright, so you can just duplicate this extrusion by holding the command key. You click and drag, alright, to duplicate. Then you delete this one, then place the next one inside the extrusion. So we have our 88. Okay, alright, so let's continue. So what we are going to do is this, the stage that the 88 is standing on. Okay, to do that, let's go back to our 4D. Let's come to the block 2 here, where the cube is. It has a cascading arrow underneath it. So you click and hold, then select tube. Okay, then you scale it up, something like let me make it 400. Let me switch the view, then position it well, so that we have something like this. Okay, so let's group these two, the extrusion, the two logos, alright, by holding the shift, then selecting, or by selecting the two, then going to objects here, then grouping them, or you click on the Alt and the G to group them. So after that, you can bring the logo down so that it will land on your stage. Okay, alright, Okay, so now I have this. Let's see the rotation segments. Let's increase it so that it will be smoother a bit. Okay, so you have this. Now we can duplicate it by holding the command key, then click and drag down to duplicate it. All right. Okay, so what you do next is, you see that on the stage here there's a ring around this, a cylinder. Okay, so the top one, the top one is going to be our ring. All right, so the inner radius, let's go something like let me off this in first. The inner radius, let's go something like 500. Then the height 20. Okay, then let me close the second one. Then let me on the second one, then close its inner radius. Okay, so after this we pull the top one up, pull it up small. Let me see the heights. Let me reduce the heights again. Okay, so you have something like this. Okay, at the moment you are not seeing it, so let's try to apply some materials. Okay, all right, just double click in the material column here, or you come to create, you click on create new material. Let's make this one white. Okay, let's make it white. All right, then duplicate it, hold it, then drag to duplicate, then make the next one something like yellow. Okay, all right, so the yellow part will go to where the ring is, whilst the white will be the one underneath it. Okay, so that you have something like this. All right, okay. Okay, so after this, what you do next is group the two. All right, just select the two, you hold the command key, then you click and click to select the two, then you go to objects, group, or you hold the alt and the G to group. All right, so you name this one base 1, base 1. You hold the command key, you click and drag down, and name the second one base 2. Okay, so you bring this one, the next one down, then each tube, you increase the tube to something like the outer tube radius to something like let me see. Okay, 600 is okay. 600 is okay. Then this one, the ring, outer radius, something like 6. Off. Let me close the inner one in. So you have this. Okay. All right. We are set. At the moment, it looks plain. All right. So after doing this, let's see where we are. So we have this. So the next one be the cylinder. Okay. All right, now let's create a floor. So we go to the cube again, cascading arrow, we select disk. All right, now the disk outer radius, let's make it something like 800. 800 is too small. Okay, let me make it 1800. That's even too small. 3. Okay. So you have this. Alright. Okay. So you have this as the floor. Alright. Okay. Now let's do what's next. Let's bring in a cylinder. We go to the cube again and select cylinder. Alright. Let's increase the radius. So 4000 is okay. Let me increase the rotation segment to something like 100. Alright. Now the next thing we do is make it editable. To make it editable, you click on the C, you click on C on the keyboard. We come to the side and select polygon face. It's polygon face. We click on it. What we are going to do is we are going to delete one side of it. Okay. After selecting the polygon face, we go and click on the live selection. You just click and drag on the surface. Then click on delete to delete one face off. Alright. So now you have this like a hole facing us. Alright. Let's bring it down. Alright. So let me select these two, then bring them down. So we have this. Okay. Alright. So now you have this. You have the 88 on the stage here. Okay. Now let's try to apply some materials to it. Okay. Alright. So we have this. So the next thing to do is to animate the cloth coming in. And to do that, we use a helix spline. So we click on the spline cascading arrow underneath it, then select helix, then come to its attributes and change from XY to XZ. Alright, let's change the view to orthographic. Let me increase the radius to something like 500 by 500. Let me position it well. Cross surface too small. 700 by 700. That will do. Then the height 900. Okay, 900. So you have this. Let me reduce the number of coils within it. It's okay. I think this one is okay. Alright. Okay. So the next thing to do was make the spline editable by clicking on the C. See, once you click on the C, it makes it editable. Then you come here and click on the point 2. Alright. So what you do next is click on the first point. You click on the first point, then drag it out to create a line. Okay, so that the cloth will come in whilst coiling around the logo and out it goes. Alright. So let's set the spline wheel point mode and make it a more editable. I think I need 1 point in the middle here. So I'll go to mesh, create 2, then create point. Click that, then come and click in the middle here. Okay. So we select that particular point, pull it out. Alright. So you have something like this. Alright. Alright. So you have this. You let it face the camera well. Alright. Let me open where we did our first cloth animation. Okay, this one. So what I'll do is, to make it fast, I'll copy this entire the plane and the turbulence. I'll copy the two, or let me just group them. Where our cloth animation is, let's just copy this. We copy, come to where we are doing our stage. It's stage O, then we paste it here. Okay, now the next thing to do is this. And please, to our newcomers, if you're a bit confused, watch the first tutorial, okay, the part 2, because this is the part 3, the spline wrap. So with the spline wrap, you click on the spline wrap, okay, you click on the spline wrap, then you click and hold the helix, then drop it into the spline. So after dropping the spline in the spline wrap, we are going to use the offset to animate. All right, so you click to set a key whilst the offset is on 0, then you move the timeline to something like 200, then you increase the offset to 100%, then set another key. Okay, so you have something like this with the cloth revolving around the logo. Okay, but as you can see, the cloth coming in and revolving around the logo is not the kind of style that we want, because it's not revolving right. Okay, it's not revolving around it right. So what we have to do now is to change the axis. Okay, the axis on the spline wrap. Okay, we change it from +X to something like +Z. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, also not right, almost there. So after changing the spline wrap axis to +Z, you select the plane and change its orientation to +X. All right, and let's see that one too. Okay, that's better. All right, so now you have this, the cloth coming in, then revolving around the logo, just like that. Okay, so let's animate it coming in. Okay, so maybe, let me see, let me bring in a camera. Let me set a camera here, and let me set a stage. Let me turn this thing around well. Okay, so you have something like this. Let me move it, position it inside here. So you have something like this. Okay, all right, let me bring a new camera. Okay, now let me set my camera points at the end. This is how I want it to end, the ending to be like. Okay, so I set a key there, then move the timeline backwards, then maybe rotate the logo like this, the coming in, so where the cloth is about to enter, where the cloth is in focus and entering, set another key, so we have this. You see that? Let me move it a little bit in. Let me push this one backwards a little. Okay, all right, like this is okay. Okay, so now we have our cloth. Let's see, the middle there, it came into make so then push it in, then set a key there too. So I'll have something like this. Okay, all right. So this is how basically I did the cloth animation. All right, as simple as that. There's nothing difficult about this. All right, you see how the cloth came in, then it's gone. Okay, just like that, simple as that. You see that at the top there, the cloth is showing at the top there. Okay, so what you have to do for that one is to just scale it down. You can just, after it's, let's see, after it has done performing its animation, you can just scale it down. You click here, you set a key, come forward, then change it 0, 0, 0, so that it will disappear. You don't need to worry too much about this. See that? Then shoot, then it's gone. Then you are done. As simple as that. Looks like there's some kind of glitch. What's that? Is it 2 key? There's 2 key on the camera. Let me delete one. Select one and delete. Okay. So now we have this. Alright. So now the next thing to do is the balls falling. The balls. These balls. Okay. So what we did was, we went to the cascading arrow beneath the cube and select sphere. Okay. So we have a sphere here. Let me reduce the radius to something like 50. Okay, 50. Let me make it 60. All right. Then I went in for a cloner. Okay, a cloner. Then drop it in. Then give it a material color of yellow. I duplicated the sphere. I hold the command key, then drag it to duplicate it inside the cloner. Then give it a color of white. So we have 2 spheres within the cloner. Okay, we have 2 spheres within the cloner. Alright? Then I select the cloner, then change it from linear to grid iron. Okay, from linear to grid iron. Okay. So we have this. You see that? You have the balls stuck together here. Let me space it out a bit. 20, 40, so that to space out a bit. Okay, so we have this, and we have to move it backwards at the back of the logo. Okay, so we have here the cloner with the sphere up there. Okay, nothing happening to it. I've taken the simulation tag off. All right, so once I play it, there's nothing happening. So what I'll do next is I right click on the sphere, go to simulation tag and select rigid body. Right click on the second one, go to simulation tag, select rigid body. So now let's see what happens. You see now they have dropped. Alright, if you see that the bounciness is too much, you can just go to force or let's see, what is it? Yeah, collision, bounce, you can reduce it to something like 15. The bounce, let me make it 5. Then okay, this one to the bounce, let me make it 10. Friction 10, I'll make 5. So let's go back again and see. It's as simple like that. So basically this is how I set up my bumper. Okay, so we have this. All right, now the next thing to do, after getting this, the next thing to do is, you see that when they fall, they landed on the ground. Okay, the reason why when the balls fall they landed on the ground and you see it is because the ground, there is also a simulation tag applied on the ground, which is a static one. That's why they are able to land on it. If I were to take this particular tag off, the simulation tag, see what happens. Our third part of the cloth animation series. Okay, so we have this okay. All right, once you are done with the animation, what you are doing, once you are done with it, just go to your render settings. Then let's say you render from 0 to something like, let me see where our animation ends, something like 200. So let's type there 200. All right, then save. We go to save where we want to save. I normally work in PNGs. Okay, sequence, so I render in sequence. So you select where you want to render it to, the folder, then you name it, then you save. Okay, then you close it. Then after that you click on render here, the render to picture viewer, you click on it, then it starts rendering. You see that? You see that? Alright. Okay, let's load the files here. Imports, cloth animation, let's see, cloth animation. Let's load the first one. The caps lock key is on. Imports. Okay, and so I just load my sequence file, then let's see the cloth. Okay, I think this is the one. So this is how I set up the compositing. Okay, then you have something like this. Let me just bring in a white solid so that everything will. Okay, let's wait till do a render preview and let's see what's okay. So you see we have this. All right, straight into the next scene. Okay, so from here it keeps, the cloth keeps dangling, then zoom into the next scene. See the cut point, zoom into the next scene. All right, it's as simple as that. All right, okay, and please comment below. All right. Alright, so this comes to the end of our cloth animation tutorial. Okay, So the final product is this. You have this. So this is the final work.